a minute for my fucking laptop to like catch up with my internet.
What is up, Cowboys Nation? Boy, Mike Tag here. Kelly K9. Obviously, we'd be feeling better after a Cowboys win or something like that, but we are in a state that we're in, and it's just the way it is. But Kelly, we haven't really talked much, and when the season's like this, I don't know why it just gets me very withdrawn from social media because I just not. I hate the negativity and I hate the same old shit. So I just kind of. And I haven't been on social media and I haven't been on Twitter as much. I mean, so I don't know what I'm missing. But first of all, everyone hit that like, subscribe, and share as you guys roll in. Kelly, how you doing? But what's your thoughts on just kind of where we're at right now? But we're going to get in detail. But just what's your 30,000-foot view?
I mean, I'm doing all right, but I'm kind of the same, man. It's tough. It's tough to stay locked in when you're going through a season like this. You wait so long for the season, and it feels a lot like last year. You wait so long for the season. There's expectations. There's hope. There's glimmers. You start out and you play Philadelphia really tough, and you're thinking, damn, maybe this, we might be able to do something this year. Because even in a loss, you thought, man, we're toe for toe with Philly, and then you have the nail biter versus Giants, and then it's just been a roller coaster ride, and it's really taxing on the old emotions, and I'm the same, man. I don't think I've been near as active on social media just because it's kind of hard to be all in.
Yeah, I like talking about when we're winning. And the losing it gets tough, but I think overall, and appreciate everyone for joining the chat. This is going to be an interactive one because we want your guys' input because I think this is such a pivotal game, and we're going to get into it. But, to your point is the off season is so long and you're trying and you're just waiting. And like you said, man, you start seeing this yo-yo effect with the team. It's win, loss, tie, win, loss, whatever the hell it is. It's just they haven't won 2 in a row, but they haven't lost 2 in a row either. So it's just been kind of a weird season for them. So we're going to get into it. But what I'm looking at with this game, and I'm never a must-win guy. Like I think that's such an overused term. And because it's like, all right, well, you didn't win. Well, what if you win the rest and you're good to go? But I think this is a must-win and want to get your opinion and get everyone in the chat. And I'm going to lay out my reasons and I want your thoughts and on it as well. But they're playing the Cardinals on Monday night. They have a bye. The trade deadline's looming. I think if they win, we're going to get into it, but I think you can become a buyer. And I think now you're sitting at 500. You're getting some players back. You're going to get Overshown back. You're getting Revel back. BB's probably going to be back this week. The safeties are probably coming back. So you're getting some guys back. Plus in the trade, you got to be hopeful the Cowboys would address some needs. You got the bye week to kind of get it tightened up. And now the season starts. And oh, by the way, most of the games you have left are at home, which you play your best at home. And your road games are against the Raiders, the Lions, which I think we all agree will probably get stomped. And then you have 2 against the Giants and Washington, which Washington's not what we thought. And the Giants, they might be pretty much done by then. So your harder games, the Phillies, the Kansas Cities, the Minnesotas, the Chargers, they're all at home, where the Dallas Cowboys have been pretty damn good at home. scoring points and getting things going. So do you look at this that way, or are you pretty much, man, I just don't see it. I don't see this happening one way or the other.
Well, for me personally, I just have a hard time buying that I think you got to get to 10 wins in the NFC to make the playoffs. And that would have us going 6-3 down the stretch.
Yeah.
And through the first 8 games, we have to really put together like a win streak. You're going to have to start putting together consecutive wins, and they're not doing that. They win one, and then they have a absolute stinker, and then they win one, and then they get smacked around. And I know they've played better at home, but when you look at that level of home competition outside of Green Bay, which we tied, you've got a Kansas City who's looking better. They're starting to heat up now that they've got Rashee Rice back. But I mean, I look right now at the NFC, standings right now, and that, even for that third wild card spot, you've got, I believe 3 teams right now that are ahead of the Cowboys right now that have winning records. You've got that NFC West where you've got the Rams at 5-2, you got the Niners at 5-3. Then you go into the North, you've got the Lions at 5-2, the Bears at 4-3. Those are all teams vying for wild cards. There's 3 wild card spots. That's 4 teams right there that are in that wild card spot that are ahead of the Cowboys. Then you've got the Panthers that are 4-4, who are also ahead of us, and the Bears at 4-3. So right now, the Cowboys got a lot of teams ahead of them in terms of that wild card spot. Now, granted, there's 17 games in the season, not 8, but you're looking at this stretch, and what did we talk about in the off season before this started when we went over the schedule? We said that we were going to have to stack some wins before we went into the back stretch here, right?
Yeah.
And I think if you would have told anybody, hey, the Cowboys are going to be 3-4-1 going into this stretch of the season, do you think the Cowboys are going to make the playoffs? I think we probably would have looked at this and said, probably not. The thing that I have.
Let's look at that, because I always say it's not who you play, it's when you play. Are the Eagles better or worse than you thought at the beginning of the season?
You know what?
I think they're worse.
I think they're about the same. They keep winning. They find ways to win.
I thought their offense would be better. Their defense is worse than they have been. I think they're beatable at home. I'm just going to say I think they're worse.
Well, they went out and made a trade for a DB. They're actually still making moves, unlike the Cowboys who are staying stagnant. So their defense is worse, but yes, they went out and made a trade. They got themselves another defensive back to add to that roster and to improve an area that's a weakness there. So me personally, the way that I look at this right now, and I could be 100% wrong, but I don't see the Cowboys winning more than 3 games the rest of this year. I feel it's a 6-7 win max right now. I think
way off.
I think that,
you don't think we're,
I think
right.
I
you think we're
think
losing
the defense I actually think that we will win against the Cardinals.
Lose against the Raiders.
We'll win against the Raiders.
Coming off 5. We're going to lose against the Eagles then.
I think we'll lose against Philly, yes.
We're going to lose against the Chiefs.
Yes.
We're going to lose against the Lions.
Yes.
We're going to lose against the Vikings.
That's a coin toss, but where are we playing? On the road or at home?
Oh, we're playing at home. Playing at home.
We're playing in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
We might be able to win that game. That might.
Chargers, you got us losing then, because you only got 3 wins for us. That's a lot. Wow.
Yeah,
and you got us losing the Commanders and the Giants.
The Giants, I might be able to get myself into a win. We're playing the Commanders on the road. We might. It depends on what the Commanders look like. It's a road game.
A lot of this is prefacing that our defense, they make trades. Now, and that's why I say this is a must win, and they would have to do something on the back end. I say linebacker and back end. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if you really need to do much on the D line. I don't know. You're going to get Winfrey back, but I don't know. What are they going to, I think they got what they got, and they're going to have to be creative with blitzing and things like that. But I think linebacker, which you're getting Overshown back, secondary, you got to get a DB or you got to get a safety. You got to get a corner or safety. I know you're getting Revel back, but you can't bank on that. And I think Diggs is probably maybe done. I think linebacker is critical, and I think a DB, which, I mean, they could. I'm just saying. I don't know. I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm trying to give hope, and you're not helping.
No, well, the thing is that I think right now, I think our secondary is worse. It wouldn't surprise me if we did lose to the Cardinals at home on Sunday, though. It really wouldn't, because you look at a team in the Broncos who are struggling offensively. They've struggled offensively. If you look at their offense, they're not one of the better offenses in the league, and Bo Nix had a career day. How many times have we seen quarterbacks that have struggled have a career day against the Cowboys this year? I mean,
I started him on my fantasy league, and I started Kyler Murray on my.
I did too. I've got Kyler Murray starting over Dak Prescott in my fantasy football league because I feel like he's going to probably have a 3 to 400 yard game. And the thing is that it makes your offense have to play perfect football. And right now that offense is not playing perfect football. They're playing good football, but they're making mental errors. They had 2 mental errors in that game that cost us points.
Yeah.
We had 2 times. I mean, the one where we're on the 1 yard line, and you get a false start. Back us up 5 yards. Instead of being able to run it in with Javonte Williams for a touchdown, now we're passing. We end up settling for a field goal. And then later on in another drive, it was another penalty that pushed us back and took points off the board. And I look at those mental errors and I say, we can't afford them. But then I look at this team, and it's a team that is, again, leading the league, or right there up towards the top. They're one of the worst teams, the most penalized teams. And, and this is an interesting question, Mike, that I have, because I asked it to myself, is that I've looked back at it. This has been one of the most penalized teams for over 10 years now. For almost 10 years, they've done the league. Now, my question to you is this. It can't be the players, because the players keep changing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, I start to think about, is it the coaches? But the coaches have changed, right? So it's one of 2 things, in my opinion. It's either that the culture there is just so lack of accountability, because it starts at the top, and Jerry doesn't really give a damn and won't really hold anybody accountable, which we've thought that for a long time about this team and this organization. Or is there, and maybe it's a little bit of both, do you think that there's a little bit of a bias referee-wise when it comes to the Cowboys and them calling penalties? Because I've looked at it, I started to think about it, right? The Cowboys aren't necessarily one of the favorite teams in the league, right? Think about it. How many people hate the Cowboys? A lot of people hate the Cowboys. So if you're a referee, right, you're supposed to be non-biased. You're supposed to be. But you can call plays and you can call penalties against a team that would still be legit, that you might not call on another team. You might not call them the same both ways. So do you think that maybe there's a little bit of bias with those referees?
Micah Parsons is all of a sudden getting a bunch of holding calls. He didn't get him in Dallas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there could be some to it. I think a lot of it is, and it kind of moves to another point. And I saw a comment, and it was from Gary. What about Eberflus? So it kind of pivots a little bit to the penalty thing. And Eberflus is the whipping boy. Maybe it's right. Maybe it's wrong. But the one thing I did after the Bronco game, I've told you guys, I'm a fan. I don't really study film. I don't go watch games over. But I said, you know what? There's some good guys out there. Landon does a phenomenal job. He's on social media, and there's other people, obviously Tuck and others. They start breaking down this film, and they start showing it. And you see players that are so far out of position that don't fill the gaps that they're supposed to. Elam was the one that came to mind, and then Murray was another one. And so is it the coach, or do we have shitty players? Because you've gone through 3 coordinators. You pretty much have the same core guys. Yeah, there's some guys, new here and there. Obviously, the roster changes over. But maybe it's just you got some shitty players. I mean, Eberflus, say what you want, but go look at his record as a defensive coordinator. He's always been on the top half of the NFL, sometimes top 5, sometimes top 10. Did he all of a sudden become the worst coordinator in the NFL? Did Zimmer become the worst coordinator in the NFL? Did Quinn in the last year become the worst coordinator? I don't know. I think, it could be a mixture of both. Maybe it's a mixture of both, but they keep talking about accountability and hero ball. You hear Schottenheimer talk about it if you listen to his press conference. They say it over and over. We got to coach him better. They got to, he gave the example of if you got a 4-year-old and you're just sitting there and you're focused, you got this kid running back and forth to you, your eyes are going to go to follow him, and now you're kind of out of position. You need to keep a narrow focus, stay in your lane, do your job. And they say it over and over. I mean, at some point, maybe we just got some shitty players.
Well, I think right now you do have a roster defensively that's not great. You're very, very thin at the cornerback position. I think that Diggs has been one of the biggest disappointments this year. I think he absolutely has zero heart, and I would get his ass off this team in a minute. If there was anybody that would trade anything of value for him, I would trade his ass before the deadline in a heartbeat. I think you've got some really, really young guys. I think the Kyer Elam experiment failed terribly. I think that you've got some of these young guys in here that were getting picked on. I mean, Bridges started out with a nice pick, but then he had guys.
Did you know who he was? I'm going to be honest.
I didn't know. I had no idea who he was.
Okay, I just want to make sure I wasn't the only one. I want to make sure I wasn't the only one because I didn't know who the hell he was. Look at it,
you're not the only one. When he made the pick, I said, "Who the hell is Bridges?" Didn't know.
So I mean, that doesn't help. I mean, that doesn't help the situation. I mean, we were down to our third string on both sides of both safeties. I mean, it was a recipe for disaster. We don't need to get into the game. I think we got a coaching lesson. I think Sean Payton gave Schottenheimer and this team a coaching lesson. And I think they coached scared. I think we played scared. You had Surtain that was out most of the game. I would have thrown the ball to CD and Pickens.
I was wondering
50
the same.
times. This was the one game where I would have been okay with F the running. We're going to throw it, and we're going to attack the ends of those cornerbacks because they were struggling. We were completing left and right, and they didn't do it. I think they coached scared, and I give credit to Sean Payton. He outcoached that team. I mean, he made them look foolish.
Yeah, I thought so too. I mean, it was a game plan where, when you got a DB, one of their star DBs goes down, why aren't you picking on the guy that came in for him? Yeah. I mean, I like you said, I would have aired that thing out. I would have thrown it, a million times a game. I did think though that there was a couple times that the Cowboys got way too cute on offense when they're down there on the goal line. I'm sorry, when you're on the 1 yard line, give it to Javonte Williams every damn time. I don't need to see anything cute. I don't need to see any rollout passes. I don't need to see Dak Prescott trying to sneak it in. Just give it to Javonte Williams. He's gonna get the ball in there every time. He's shown that he can do it. And if it's first down, second down, third down, I'm giving it to him all three times. Times, and he's going to score. So I don't like it when they get a little bit cute down there. I think they outthink themselves sometimes in those situations, and I didn't like that.
And the thing I was talking to my son about it tonight. We had dinner. What frustrates me is when you get to the one, like, why do you take your time, and why do you go from the shotgun, or why get up quickly, get on the ball, hand it off, and fucking score? Like, because you're sitting there, you're going to get a false start. Now you're giving more time. You're doing cadence. It's a one. Just go twice. I'm not even against sneaking. Just hike it, go. If you don't get it, hike it, go. Just 3 times. If you can't you had 3 opportunities. If you can't fall forward and get in the end zone from the half-yard line, then you don't deserve to score anyway. But they play around, and then you get a false start, and then that ruins it. And then I think, again, Surtain's out. You have the backup cornerback one-on-one on George Pickens. How do you not throw him the ball? It's like, I know they went to CD, but how do you not just throw up a fade and just let CD or let Pickens just jump up and get it? I think they try and get too cute, to your point, and they outthink themselves, and it hurt them because, like you said, you had that interception. If you would have scored, you had 3rd and 7. The shitty defense, believe it or not, actually made a stop, and they punted the ball. And then we have a guy lining up offsides who had nothing to do with the play. Like, how the hell do you line up offside? He didn't jump offsides. He lined up offsides. I mean, if he jumped, okay. I mean, stupid, but the hard count got you. He lined up offsides, and he wasn't even in the play. It's like, it's so frustrating. To your point, it is frustrating. So, are you delayed on me, Kelly? I think you're getting delayed.
It is frustrating, and I think. Can you hear me?
You're delaying. Like it's like you're like maybe you're hearing me 5 seconds later. I don't know if you want to call back. Call from your cell. Yeah, he's gonna fix it. We're gonna get that fixed. We were having a little bit of trouble, so he's gonna go fix it. But no, I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, Ferguson, they took him out of the game. I don't know, if they did it or if that was totally on us, but this guy was 50 catches to start the season, 6 touchdowns, 0. I started him in fantasy, and look, that made me look like a fool. He couldn't even get 1 catch, and I don't even know if he got a target. I mean, I don't even know if he got a target, but I don't want to just beat up the last game. I like to move forward, but if I'm saying this must win, I'm going to be there. If that makes you guys feel any more confident, I'll be at the game in AT&T. So I'll be there. It's going to be a fun weekend. I'm starting off with the Miami SMU game, as long as my plane lands on time. And then I'm going to go into the then obviously we have the Monday night game. So it's going to be a great weekend. I'm looking forward to it. But it's must win. And the reason I say that is if they win, I think there's reasons to buy. And what I'm going to say, and hopefully Kelly will jump on because I want to get his thoughts on it. My philosophy of it is, that old F the picks. If you can get guys, good guys, like Quinnen Williams, if you could pick him up, he's got 3 years, 2 years left on his deal. If you could pick up guys that got some years left on their contract, that you can absorb it, you can handle it, give up the picks because you got like a 3-year window. The offense is pretty much set. They got to sign Pickens. Obviously, that's contingent on them signing Pickens. They got to sign Pickens. So they signed Pickens. They will, I think you got your whole offense locked up. I'm giving reasons to buy, Kelly. Can you hear me now?
Giving reasons to buy.
I'm saying if we beat Arizona,
okay,
I'm buying. And what I'm buying is, my philosophy on buying is F the picks. If you can get guys, good young guys that have a couple years or middle, whatever, good starters with a few years left on their contract, you got a 3-year window. This offense, you signed Pickens, you're going to have the offensive line is signed, Ferguson signed, CD signed, Dak is signed, you signed Pickens. You have a window. Load up anything you can do on defense if you want to buy some guys like Quinnen Williams. You can get him for a 2, so they say. Eat the contract. His contract's not terrible. You can take that contract. Get a linebacker, get a DB, whatever you got to do. And if you got to give up picks for it, so what? Because, I mean, let's just be honest. How great has their draft been on defensive guys? I'd rather get the known. So I'm saying if they beat Arizona, I think the NFC is still open. I mean, you obviously disagree, and we could disagree on that. I think the NFC is wide open. I don't think there's a team that scares anybody. So that's my thought if they win.
Well, I would be on the page to agree with you on that if they make trades that yes, it is still open. I think that comes with the caveat of yes, we have to win. If you lose to Arizona, then I don't think there's. And if you lose to Arizona and the teams all ahead of you, they all win. Or let's just say half of the teams that are ahead of you in the wild card win, because right now I think there's 4 teams ahead of us for that 3rd wild card spot. Then I think that there's no point in it, because then I think you're too far out. You're talking about 3 games out for the most part. So no, I don't think you do that. But I mean, I've prefaced it for the past several weeks that I think that this is a Super Bowl caliber offense with a defense from China. It's a Temu defense. You know what I mean? It's cheap. It's broken. It's not working. You don't have playmakers on this side of the ball. Will Overshown and Revel help? I don't know about Revel because he's a rookie. Overshown, yes, absolutely. I think he will. But you also have to think about the fact that Overshown has gotten injured. He's been injured a lot in these early years. He is a lighter linebacker, not very heavy. How much these injuries going to take toll on his speed, what he does best, side to side, right? I'm not counting on him to be a 100% sure. I don't know how much of him we're getting. But you look at teams around the league that need help, that continue to make moves. And if I was Jerry Jones, I would have made this move probably 2 weeks ago when I saw that this defense was struggling, when I saw that this defense was who we thought they were. And I would have probably made that move then, because I'd have been like, look, I'm watching what my offense is doing and scoring points at a kind of a historic clip here. I'm watching what we can do with CeeDee Lamb and with Pickens and with Ferguson and with Javonte Williams, and the offensive line playing pretty well. I'm seeing all these things. So why wouldn't I want to make a trade now? I would have made a trade 2 weeks ago. I wouldn't have been sitting on my thumbs and not doing anything, because you sit here, you give us this whole spiel about why you traded Micah Parsons, because you didn't want to put that amount of money in one player. You wanted to be able to spread it over the roster. Well, the Dallas Cowboys right now have the second most cap space available of any team in the NFL, and you aren't doing a goddamn thing with it. Why? You've got 4 first-round draft picks over the next 2 years. Not saying you got to use the first-round picks, but those give you flexibility to move. Those give you flexibility to do things. They give you flexibility to use maybe a second-round pick or a third-round pick. Maybe maybe a package where it's a 5th and a 3rd, something along those lines. Well, not a 3rd because we got Pickens, but anyway, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is that you can use those and move around. And it's like, I've heard that they said the Cowboys are calling for Max Crosby, and that they called for Hendricks from Cincinnati, and they were told no on both of them. Okay, fine. Move on then. Go grab somebody else.
I would keep calling them.
Yeah, if those guys told you no, then guess what? There's 30 other damn teams out there, that 29 other teams that you can go and you can try to make deals with to get somebody. There's plenty of teams out there that are already either out of playoff contention and probably looking to shop, or teams that are borderline and probably would at least listen if you picked up the phone and said, hey, we need a guy. So Jerry Jones it's just the sense of urgency just doesn't seem to be there with this team. And I don't understand why, because I think that on offense, you make a trade for a guy like Pickens. You won that trade. Clearly, you have won that trade. But if you let this season go by and nothing happens with it, then the trade was for naught. You know what I mean? Because what are you going to do next year? Yes, you can franchise Pickens, and I absolutely would love to keep Pickens. When I said something I said on Twitter about trading Pickens if we lost, man, people were coming at me from all angles. I would have made a trade Pickens. I was just saying, listen, I'd rather get something than nothing. It's
the reason to sell. And
correct.
if we lose against the Cardinals, it breaks my heart to say it, but I think the window's closed this year, right? So that's the reason to sell. So if they were to lose to the Cardinals, then if they don't have any intentions, and I know where you're going with it, and I'll say the same damn thing. If they have no intentions of re-signing George Pickens, you trade him now. You trade him to a team that's desperate for a receiver that you could probably get. And I know some people say, "Oh, you're not going to get a first round." You could get a first round if the team wants him with the intent of re-signing him. They will be willing to give that up. 1 year rental, yeah, maybe not. But you're going to tell me the Chiefs, the Bills, one of these teams the
Broncos,
Javonte Williams. I would trade him if they lose, because they're not going to re-sign him next year. That's all I'm saying. But if they win, you got to keep calling. And I would much rather, and they've said it, some people confirmed it in the chat too. I would much rather get a known quantity, a guy that is a baller that we know, than take the chance on drafting someone now. And the reason being is because you have a window. You got a quarterback that is in that window. You got an offense that is pretty much all under contract in that window. The contracts are set. You know what you got to manage. You've got room. You got flexibility. You can move on from Clark, and that's another big cap savings that they'd have next year. they've got the opportunity to almost remember the Rams after picks and what they did. They got an opportunity to do something like that and just have that window and take their best shot at it, because the offense is explosive. Now, obviously, the Broncos had something to do with it. They weren't as explosive on the road. They're going to have to figure that shit out. But they definitely have that opportunity. I think a better defense would help. So that's what I'm saying is I'm buying if they win. I'm selling if they lose. The good thing is Andrew Fisher. I don't know if you remember this, but Mrs. Fisher, she's undefeated at the games, and she was there at the last game they won. She's going to be there with me. I mean, she's going to be there in the same building. So hopefully that's almost has to guarantee some sort of victory. And you're going into the bye. And if Jerry Jones does nothing for trades through the bye, it is the big FU to the fans. It is. You can't put it any other way.
Well, yeah, because again, like I said, what I reiterated, you sit there and you talked about the fact that you traded Michael Parsons because you didn't want to invest that kind of capital in one player. You wanted to spread it out. Well, then show us. God damn it. Show us. Quit messing around. This team is borderline on being a team that could contend. And like you said, what I also agree would be a pretty wide open NFC right now. I don't think that there's one clear favorite or a juggernaut that's out there. I think your opportunities are there, but you got to make a move. You can't sit there and you can't be stagnant. Look, I mean, and in terms of the people, like you said, when I went out there and I looked at some of the deals, and I made a tweet yesterday, I think, about teams that I thought that would trade a first for a guy like George Pickens, because I think that there are teams right there that, here's the thing, if you traded George Pickens and you gave up a first to get him, if you're a team that really wants you end up winning a Super Bowl, then it was all worth it. Because if you trade a first for a guy like Pickens, you could still franchise him next year while you're trying to work out a deal for the long-term future. So you can't tell me that a team like the Buffalo Bills, who aren't desperate to get there, but their offense is, they still got a good offense, but they don't really have a playmaker like George Pickens. He would instantly come in there and be a guy. Denver Broncos, who have struggled offensively, you get a guy to pair with next to Cortland Sutton, and you get George Pickens on that offense with Bo Nix and a absolutely elite defense, a team that is right now in first place of their division, but wants to hold off teams like the Chiefs and the Chargers. You can't tell me that teams like that wouldn't want to make a trade. I mean, you could even look to Detroit, who's got a good offense, but it could make them an elite, unstoppable offense. They get a guy like Pickens. So when you're in terms of talking value, Pickens has played at a number one wide receiver value this year. He is playing like a wide receiver, an elite wide receiver. People are seeing that he always has been. He just needed a quarterback to throw him the ball. So for the people that say that you can't get a one for Pickens, I don't buy that at all. Not at all. I think Pickens has absolutely elevated himself to a first-round pick value if a team was to trade for him.
Yeah. I wanted to ask this because Cuts, he said it, maybe some people – so I saw something, and it was a quote, and it was something about Jerry. I don't know if this is what you're referring to, Cuts. And it was basically, it said that I make all my money. He was doing something. That's why I'm more focused on building a very odd quote. So I guess my question would be, if to Cuts or whoever, if that's what you guys are kind of talking about in the chat, do we have audio? Like, do you have a not even audio, because Kelly could have done it. Do you have video? Do you have video of Jerry Jones actually saying what he said? Because I if you do, tag me in a post or message me. I really would love to see if that's legitimately what he said. Did you see it, Kelly? Do you know what we're talking about?
I'm not aware. No.
There was some sort of quote that said that I'm out here making $100 million on gas, and that's why I'm not focused on, having a better defense or something like that, getting a better defense. So
I hadn't seen that.
I think that would be very suicidal for a guy to say that. But I want to see video, and I don't want no AI bullshit. I want to see legit video. I don't want you guys dubbing Kelly's voice doing Jerry Jones and trying to say that was him or something like that. But If it's just a quote, because I've seen so many quotes. I've seen that Wade Phillips, there was a big thing that he died, which was a lie, and he had to, kind of come out and say, "Hey guys, I'm still here, man. I ain't dead." Everything between AI and all this BS on social media, they could just put all this crap out there. I don't believe it for a second, so that's why I wasn't even going to talk about it. But I saw Cuts kind of bring it up, and Cuts is a reliable source. So I mean, if Cuts says it, it's got to be true. But I don't know if it is. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll tell you this. I mean, there's a lot of AI. I mean, you get a video of Jerry Jones, and hell, I could do his voice and make him say that. So we can. There's always that. But
yeah.
No, I think that would be. I mean, honestly, I think that would be grounds for the NFL looking into remove him as an owner. That, I'll tell you what, man. There's. Just real quick, don't want to get too sidetracked off, but just kind of off that, man. I mean, I every night before I go to bed, I pray that Jerry Jones gets caught up in a Daniel Snyder type thing. I say, this is please, sweet baby Jesus, can you have some emails between not only Jerry, but let it be a group chain between Jerry and Steven Jones and some others, to where just the whole Jones family gets expelled, gets the Cowboys stripped from them. I know you shouldn't pray on somebody's downfall, but Jerry would be all right. He got plenty of money, man. Just get the hell away from my Cowboys and let a real goddamn owner come in here and get a real GM to bring this team back to glory. I'm tired of this bullshit every day.
I know. It's painful. What would you think? I mean, this is off subject, but we could bounce around a little bit. So the Colts are 7-1. And Uncle Cheech, who's a phenomenal, he does our picks on Vegas Insider on Monday. He took his lock of the week as Colts giving 3 on the road against Pittsburgh, which I just can't accept that, right? I just can't think the Colts and their owner, Jim Irsay, the late Jim Irsay's daughter, is on the sidelines taking notes with the headset because she wants to learn and she wants to understand and she wants to kind of be able to get where everything is at. And they're 7-1. I mean, how would you feel like with that? I mean, what does that make you think? It's pretty. I mean, I think it's pretty cool. But
so with her, I actually think that is perfectly fine, because what she's doing is she's saying she wants to learn. She's wanting to learn the ins and outs of how things are going, right? But she's not meddling. She's not having her own show every week. She's not announcing who is going to play and who's injured. Jerry's out here talking about, Diggs and putting him on, the decision to put him on IR and all this other shit. Like, you don't hear that from no other owner around the league. You hear that from Jerry Jones. He's got his weekly show that he comes on. You don't hear that from her. I think with her, it's true, genuine, wanting to understand top to bottom this organization so that you can do your best in running that organization. I respect it. I've got zero problems with it because, again, like you said, the Colts are 7-1. Daniel Jones' career completely resurrected. I mean, the guy's out here looking like, I mean, you want to talk about guys that, I don't think he'll probably win it, but I mean, I think that if anything, you probably got Jonathan Taylor is a big reason why that offense really clicks. But I mean, could a guy like Daniel Jones be comeback player of the year? I mean, I don't think he played last year, so I don't think you can be comeback player if you didn't. But I think
you're shitty, you probably could be, can't you?
Huh? Well, that's what I was wondering. I was like, I mean, it's just amazing though, the turnaround that he's had, because he looks like a completely different quarterback. He's got confidence. It almost reminds me of Alex Smith's career when his career got re-resurrected, and that's kind of what it reminds me of, because I'm going to be honest with you, there is not one time that I have ever seen Daniel Jones play that I thought, that guy just needs a better coach. You know what? He's just not being coached right. He's got potential to be an NFL quarterback, and he looks great this year. I not one thing negative I could say about the guy. He looks great this year. Absolutely spectacular. So I don't know, man. It's amazing what works for some teams and not for others.
But doesn't that make you think, because you talk about quarterbacks and, this guy was a bust and Daniel Jones got labeled a bust and Darnold got labeled a bust and Baker Mayfield got labeled a bust. and they end up bouncing around, and then they get in situations where there's stability, a good organization. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, when Tank Lawrence signed with the Seattle Seahawks, how many of us laughed when he said that I wanted to go to a Super Bowl contender? I mean, and look where the Seahawks are. I mean, they're right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
You get Sam Darnold, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, I would never." Right? Vikings, don't pay this guy. Don't pay this guy. Well, Seattle does. I mean, you think the Vikings might want him? I mean, you think they might want him back over there? So these quarterbacks get in situations. So I guess what I'm saying is, like, so many times with quarterbacks, they get looked as bust because most of them go to shitty teams, right? I mean, look what poor Cam Ward's going through now. I mean, it's painful as a Miami Hurricane fan to watch this poor guy just get annihilated in every game. And some struggle with it, and some it takes longer, and it just kind of, they get that, PTSD, the way that David Carr did with the Texans. And sometimes it's just getting the right situation. But when you get in a good situation, man, these guys, I mean, Baker Mayfield, I mean, he's one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch. I mean, he's all heart, and he just don't stop. So
yeah, you think Cleveland would like to have him back?
Yeah. Yeah. Look what the Cleveland Browns are doing with their quarterbacks over and over and over.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. So I think organizations make a difference. So going back to, it maybe circles back to your point of why are the Cowboys always just a penalty problem? And you're going back to the Garrett years. I mean, I always pointed this out because people used to bitch about Mike McCarthy. Go look at Mike McCarthy when he was with the Packers. They were always one of the least penalized teams in the league. I mean, and they would, no, it's Mike McCarthy. He's undisciplined. I think it's like a cultural kind of thing with the Cowboys. I don't know if it's the lifestyle that makes you laxed. They don't have that. I just don't know. But like what I wanted, I was telling my son, what I wanted after the Broncos game, I wanted someone's head to roll. I wanted them to cut people.
Yeah.
Send a message that this kind of play is not to be tolerated. Cut Elam. Cut Murray, cut somebody. Like, show the fans and show the locker room more than the fans that, guys, if you're going to put that shit on the field, you're gone. I mean, it was embarrassing when you see. It's like I was telling my son, is there any pride? Like, if I'm getting my ass kicked, maybe I'm going to do something dirty. Maybe I'm going to elbow a guy. I'm going to fight on this. I'm going to do something because I'm not going to get embarrassed on this field. But they got embarrassed for 60 minutes. It was just pathetic to watch.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this, man. I don't really know the last time that I've watched this Cowboys team and thought to myself that the team defensively, I would say, and really honestly, a lot of it offensively, where I would look and just be like, man, we got some dogs on this team, some guys with a really, really physical mentality. Now, this year, I'm going to give credit to two guys that I think that are newcomers to the team that I love the way that they're playing. I love their mentality, and that's Javonte Williams and George Pickens. I think those guys, we need more like that. And I'm not saying that CeeDee Lamb can't be like that, because I think he has started to develop into that kind of guy where he gets into that mode, he's unstoppable. But there's been some times where you see CeeDee Lamb be a little bit soft at times. Yeah. In my opinion. In my opinion. Yes. Yeah. And I with Pickens and with Javonte Williams, they both seem like very physical guys. They seem like fighters. They seem like dogs. And here's the thing. I'm going to preface this right here because somebody asked me this, and this was an interesting question just because, debate for debate, right? Just to throw it out there, right? But somebody asked me, they said, would you, if given the option, they were like, would you trade CeeDee Lamb and keep George Pickens? Or would you trade George Pickens and keep CeeDee Lamb? And to me, and it was an if or. And for me, I started thinking about it, and I think that would be a lot harder than what you think and what anybody thinks. Because if you would have told me at the beginning of the season, I'd say absolutely I would keep CeeDee Lamb. I would never. But now, having seen 8 games of George Pickens with Dak Prescott, I'm really loving what I'm seeing. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still a big CeeDee Lamb fan. I think Lamb is awesome, but George Pickens is absolutely established himself as that guy. He can be that guy for your team. He can be a number one. He can be the number one. So
Oh, I think
it's an interesting question for debate, though. It really
Yeah.
is. And I don't think there's a right or wrong answer, but it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. I think like I can't look past the 3 years of CD and him getting better and better. But Pickens is I think you need both. I mean, I don't think you need one. I think you need both. I think you need both.
No, I don't see why you can't have both.
No, I know it, but it does make. I get your point. If there's a, I don't want to use the word gun to my head, but I mean, if there, I got to make a choice. It definitely, you're going to pause, because George Pickens, the way he plays is like what I like. Like, I like that Des Bryant. I like Michael Irvin. I like that mentality where I think that CD is more of a surgical guy, right? He's not. I mean, he's got that in him, but then you see him on the sideline sometimes. Like, I go back to like Pickens during the beating they got. Dak threw a pick, and Pickens is over there, and you can read his lips, and you can kind of just watch it. And he's like, that's on me. I'm sorry. That one was on me. Like, kind of pumping Dak up and taking ownership of it, to where you've kind of seen CD sometimes just kind of go out, and he has that look on his face, almost like Dak sometimes has that look on his face during hard times. So I think that's where it's at. And AI overview said, AI overview. So I don't know. I'm not going to give that Jerry Jones things, much respect until I see a video of it. But that's what I'm saying is, and to your point, that's what we're missing on defense. And Overshown, I think, is that guy, but you can't put all your hopes and dreams on a guy coming back from 2 knee injuries in 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, significant injuries. It's a lot to ask and a lot of pressure to put on one guy. And it's all about the defense. And I know we got kind of sidetracked, but one of the things I wanted to just say, and we kind of talked about a little bit, is when you're looking at this defense, I mean, what if you were going to give a percentage of blame? What percentage are you putting on players, and what percentage are you putting on the coaches?
Man, and I think, honestly, on that, I would probably have to go 50-50, because I think that I think Eberflus maybe a little bit more, maybe 60-40 on that, because I think Eberflus was very stubborn and playing a lot of that zone before. Now he's playing way more man now than he was zone. I think sometimes if your players can't, somebody said it in the chat earlier, you coach to your players' strengths. You don't try to make your players play to your scheme. If you have a scheme that doesn't work with your particular skill set group of players that you have, then you have to adapt, period. And I think he started to see some of that and to go, well, damn it, I don't have the guys that run this zone for whatever reason. They can't figure the shit out. I don't know why. I mean, you'd think that they're all professionals. They should be able to figure out schematically what's going on. They had enough time in training camp. It's been 8 games into the season. You should know how to run a zone defense, but we don't. When they run zone, our players are lost. You've got guys wide. I mean, my youngest son that's a senior in high school has just recently started watching football with me, and it's bad when he's sitting here against the Broncos and he's telling me, Dad, why are these guys, there's nobody on them? And he's sitting there and he's calling it before it happens. He's watching. He goes, "Oh my God, that guy's wide open!" And then boom, back of because there was a play in the end zone where there's a guy not even 5 yards around him, and that I think it was Franklin that caught that touchdown pass. And my son's just like, where's the guy that's supposed to cover him? And I said, that's what everybody in Cowboys Nation is asking, son. I said, we're all asking that. I said, I don't know. The fact that these guys continue to be so uncovered, and it's not just by one particular DB, it's the DBs that are missing. It's the safety. It's the DB on the other side of the slot. It's all of them. Yeah. It's these. And so, of course, you're going to get shredded if you can't play coverage. So I would say 50-50, maybe 60-40 to the coaches, but probably more 50-50 though, because the players do need to play. These are all still professional players, you should be able to also to play to a scheme. It's not the first time any of these guys have ever been asked to play zone defense.
Yeah,
I can't believe that.
That's why I put most of it on the players. It may be 60-40 players only, and the reason is because defenses are defense. It's not like they're running some exotic scheme. I mean, this isn't like we just changed to the 3-4 and these guys are all 4-3 guys.
Right.
I mean, you're doing some zone. I think he adjusted some man, and I think it's a evolution sometimes. But I blame the coaching staff for the stubbornness. Because I think early on it was like, yeah, this shit ain't working like with these guys. And we can't get pressure. We've got to create pressure. We can't get pressure with a front four. We got to send people and take risks. So I give the coaching blame for not making the adjustments and not taking more risk. But after watching film and like kind of saying, you know what, I'm going to educate myself a little bit. And I want to, before I bash the coaches totally, like a lot of people do, and they want their heads. Let me go see what the film says. And the film says these players are playing hero ball, and they're not playing to what they're supposed to do, and they're out of position, and that's why you got guys wide open. And Murray, I think, was the one that when they talk about the touchdown, he was supposed to drop back, and he followed a guy that went across the middle. And again, it goes back to kind of simplifying what Shotty was saying. If you can see a kid running across from you, go this way, you're already beat. And I think the guys aren't disciplined. I think we got bad players. And they've got to find some good players. Otherwise, they're going to be in trouble. But the coaches have got to adjust. So I guess what I'm saying is if you put it more on the players, or at least 50-50 on the players, to me, there's a little bit of hope if the front office would do something about it. And someone asked, would you keep the picks or trade the picks? If I can get guys on contracts, not rent a player, contracts, I would trade the picks. And I know people said, oh, don't trade it. Who gives a shit about these picks? I mean, let's think about who they got. Let's think who they drafted with these picks on defense. Go through the list, and outside Micah Parsons and Deron Bland, go ahead. Morris Claiborne, Van Der Esch, Randy Gregory. I mean, who else did they get? Taco Charlton, Mozzie Smith. Does that turn you guys on? You got confidence that this front office is going to take those ones that everyone wants to hold so valuable and going to turn them into everyone's going to be Micah Parsons? Bullshit. Ain't going to happen. I'll take Quinnen Williams. Give him a 2 if that's what they want. I'll give up a 2 for him all day, every day.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I look at how this team is drafted over the past several years, and I think there's not anything that has given me any kind of confidence that this team is going to do something great in this draft, and that they're going to turn those 4 first-round draft picks over the next years, that those 4 first-round draft picks are going to turn into franchise players. First of all, you're talking about a team that we got those from in Green Bay that's probably going to be picking towards the end of the draft anyway. So you're talking about picks in the 20s, unless Green Bay just falls off of a cliff next year, because right now this year they're one of the better teams in the NFC. I don't see them falling off a cliff. They've got a great young team, a good nucleus, a good quarterback. Like everything's good about them. So you've got those picks that are going to be in the late. And if the Cowboys, let's say that we do improve next year, and then our next first round pick, then we're picking I think even with this year, I mean, if we finish with 7 or 8 wins, even if we don't make any moves,
they're 15.
That's right. So we're picking towards mid to the middle of the draft as well. So what do you really think we're doing? You think that we're getting huge impact players there? Okay, well, they're like, oh, well, what if we just use that other first round pick? We could trade up in the draft. We could still end up with a bust. It's the draft. None of these picks are guaranteed. If you can go out and you can get me proven talent right now, then yes, I would. I'm telling you right now, I would send every goddamn draft pick that we have and have 0 draft picks next year if you told me that we could improve this roster enough to get us to a damn Super Bowl this year. I would watch that draft and with 0 picks and have no problems if the Cowboys won a Super Bowl this year. That's how I feel about them damn draft picks, Mike. I don't care about them fuck them draft picks, man.
Hey, after the picks, Rams did it. They got a Super Bowl out of it.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I agree with you. if they got to be strategic, right? Don't go sign Jonathan Mingo and draft, trade for a guy like that and give up I'm talking a premier guy that's on a shitty team where the team knows they're going to rebuild and they don't have plans of signing them when their contract's up in a few years. Those type. Go look at the Bengals. Go look at the Dolphins. Go look at whoever other crappy team has been out there. That's the Raiders. Those teams that they're more than one player away, and they would like to maybe get some draft picks and do that. The Cowboys, the way they're set up, they're in win now. I mean, they don't have time. They don't have time to wait 3-4 more years. It's like, it's like Apollo Creed said, I don't have 10 years. You know what I'm saying? I got to live now. I mean, the Cowboys got to live now, next year, the year after, because after that, you don't know what's going to happen. And I don't know. That's just
there is no tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow. That.
That's what I'm saying, man. Look, that's just a frustrating thing with the Cowboys is that, you sit there and you're like, okay, I understand why we didn't sign Michael Parsons. You're like, all right, I get it. We didn't want to spend all that money on one player because we need help, right? What are we doing then? You got the second most dollars to spend right now. What are you doing? Yeah. What are you doing? You're going to waste another year of the quarterback that you paid, $60 million a year for. You're going to waste another year of him, even though you have the league's number one offense. You're going to waste another year because of what? Because what's your excuse now? Because you got the money. You got the money right now. You got the money. And again, for all these people that say, well, you can't do this, but the future does not matter today. The future don't matter today. If this year you can win a Super Bowl, you mortgage your future, because we've seen how quick teams can turn around. Because we remember when the Rams did it and everybody said, you know what, that team's going to be terrible for years. They've been pretty damn good the last couple of years.
Right
back in the playoffs and contending. Yep. And they're good, and they're good again this year. So you can turn your team right back around, even if you put yourself in cap hell, even if you don't have some premier draft picks for a couple of years. I don't care about none of that if that results in a Super Bowl and if you make the smart moves. And to answer the question I seen somebody in the chat earlier and they're asking about Crosby. The Raiders ain't moving off Crosby. I don't think
they might. I would just keep prying. I don't know if they will, but I would just keep prying. I mean, the Raiders lose again. I mean, you start getting in that mode. That's why I say even the Bengals, I would keep prying if that's what you want. Now, I think me personally, I'd much rather see them go after a high caliber DB. Safety. If I had my druthers linebacker, I would be pumped for something like that. And there's some guys out there, the kid from the Bengals, the Dolphins, they've got a couple there. There's opportunity for them to upgrade what they got. So getting to the point now where we had a great show. If you guys missed a lot of it, we did talk about the buy, sell. This is a must win. Wholeheartedly, I mean, there is no doubt about that this is a must-win. Kyler Murray owns the Dallas Cowboys, but this offense is struggle. He's their leading rusher at 172 yards. Their leading receiver is their tight end, and he has like 47 catches. The next receiver has 24. This team is struggling. I think they got 2 wins. So this team is struggling, but the Kyler Murray factor scares the shit out of me because I don't know what it is, but he's never lost in the stadium in high school, college, or pro. I don't know why, but I'm going to be in the house, and I know Miss Fisher's going to be in the house. If any of you guys are going to be in the house, make sure you hit me up. I know Mark's in the house, Cuts is in the house. We're going to have a great time. First Take is going to be in down. They want to stomp on our grave, so we cannot let this happen. We got to win, but it's prediction time, so we want to get your guys' predictions. And Kelly, give us what you think.
I'm going to give you a prediction, but I'm also going to say when you were talking about who owns us, I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm in 4 goddamn years, we better beat the goddamn Broncos, because I'm just going to let you know, tired of fucking losing to them. I got a text from a hot blonde that I have, near and dear to my heart. We've had a little bit of a, rocky thing, but we still rock with each other now. And I got a text from her in her Broncos outfit on Sunday, as well as your brother, I might add.
He didn't message me.
He told me he gave you 24 hours. He told me he gave you 24. He didn't quite give me 24 hours. He just said, he just sent me a text and said, don't test my Broncos. So it wasn't too crazy on me. But I'm just telling you right now, I'm tired of the Broncos beating us.
I am sick of it.
Sick of it. And I'm sick of Kyler Murray getting us too, because that little damn dude looks like a midget. Looks like his mom dropped him off from school for his first day of junior high when he comes out there just rolling all over the damn Cowboys. But I'm gonna get back. I started the show off negative. I'm gonna get back on the positive, and I think that we're gonna pull this one out. And I'm going to say it's going to be another high-scoring game, because that's the only way the Dallas Cowboys will win, is when they score a lot of points. So I'm going to say the Dallas Cowboys win this game. Monday Night Football at home. Get back on track. The Cowboys are going to win this one 41-35. Cowboys.
Wow. You and
41-35. Shootout in Dallas.
You and I are 1 point off, because I did my picks and I sent them in, and they said, that's the total points that you're going to put for the game. And it was my brother who sent that. And I said, did you not watch the game did you not watch our defense play on Sunday? You were watching the game. I know you were. And then he said, oh yeah, I forgot. I have it 42-35. I think it's going to be a shootout. We averaged 40 points at home, so I don't expect us to do any less. So I think we're going to get the 40 points. But our defense is just so bad. And I know we're getting safeties back. I know, but they're going to. I picked up Kyler Murray on my fantasy football.
He was hanging
out there, and I said, you know what? I'm going to grab him before someone else does. So I do have the Cowboys winning 42-35. So I think we both have pretty much high scoring games. And I think the Cowboys, I'm praying, if anyone loves me in the heavens above, that know that I'm near and dear to my Cowboys. I love my Cowboys. Please either get Jerry on a boat somewhere where he can't be contacted and get someone to make some trades, or have him wake up. But I am praying that the wake-up call is here and the Cowboys do something, because I think what they can do is make some trades. You got the bye week to really kind of start a brand new season, and you got Oakland on Monday night, and then you've got 3 home games out of 4 in that period. And then I think you play a couple road teams, or no, it's 4 home games out of 5. After Oakland, 4 of the next 5 games are at home, and then you have 2 road games against the divisional teams, which I think might be out of it by then, and you might get lucky and sneak into the playoffs. So I hope that Jerry does it, but I don't think you have much faith in that, Kelly.
No, not a whole lot of faith, but we'll see. We'll see, man. I mean, look, I think that if the Cowboys win here, they're 4-1. You got a 500 record, basically half the season to go. And if you can get on a run, that's all you need. And if you get the right kind of guys in there, I just keep. We haven't
trust Jerry.
Well, we haven't seen Jerry get aggressive, and it's just like I have to psych myself into it. I have to think that Jerry's going to do something that I've never seen him do before, and that's get aggressive at the trade deadline and make multiple trades, because that's what it would take to fix this defense. In my opinion, is multiple. I don't think one guy is fixing this defense. It's not going to happen with one guy. I mean, I know they're looking at getting a pass rusher. They really want to get a pass rusher, which I get, because generating a pass rush will help your secondary and make them better, because the quarterback's got less time to throw the ball. Because right now they're sitting back there in the pocket. They've got all damn day to do whatever they want. They can watch their favorite Netflix special and text their mom and tell them the game's going great, and still complete a pass to a wide receiver before the pass rush gets there. It's crazy, though, that the fact that we're now we traded an elite pass rusher, and now we're looking for an elite pass rusher. It's like, what are we doing here, Jerry? Like, you're sitting here talking about a Max Crosby and a Hendricks from Cincinnati. You think that you're getting them without without giving up at least one of your first round picks. So now, I mean, it's absolute ludicrous that we're in this situation that we're at, but here we are. And again, though, I would love to be surprised. I just can't see Jerry making multiple trades. And I think that's what it would take. It's to bring in multiple guys.
I'm with you. It can't be one. They're going to have to go back end and either linebacker or pass. I mean, they got to get at least two. They got to hit at least two guys and then get overshown. There's three. You get another corners four. I mean, you start getting some guys back. It's fine, but they got to do something. They can't stand pat, and it can't be one guy. And it can't be. I'm not looking for below average or average. I need a playmaker. I need someone that is instant impact. That's what it's going to take. And I don't know if they'll do it. I mean, I'm praying that they do. I mean, I hope there's some pride in the front office that they are embarrassed by the way this defense is playing. But to your point is they may, we may get that Jerry Jones speech if they beat the Cardinals. He's like they did against Washington. He's all pumped up and yep, I told you this defense has made great strides and we got everything figured out. And then the next week they get absolutely annihilated again, and we're right back where we started. So you keep doing the same stuff over there, and that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over. And that's kind of what we've been doing year in and year out over the last several years with the Cowboys. So we'll see what happens. But hey, I will be out at AT&T. Like I said, the Learjet is taking me out there on Saturday morning. As long as the air traffic controllers, which that's my concern and why I haven't pulled the trigger on my SMU tickets yet. As long as I get there on time, I'm going to hit the SMU Miami game and then obviously hang out with Cowboys Nation over the weekend. Got a long trip, and then the Monday night game is going to be a lot of fun. Who's Texas Tech have this week? Who are we looking at?
We got K-State.
But anything, or you guys should roll?
K-State on the road. K-State on the road. We're getting our starting quarterback back from injury. So getting kind of healthy there on that front. We definitely need our guy to come back. So we should win that game, which you win that game, and then the next week sets up because BYU's got a bye, so it sets up a matchup of 8-0 BYU undefeated coming to Lubbock, Texas, and Texas Tech be at that time will just hopefully still just have the one loss. So it's been rumored that College Game Day will be making will be showing up for that game as well. So we'll see. It's going to be a good one.
Do you anticipate this being kind of a playoff game because of Texas Tech's had that stumble? It's kind of that's the way I look at Miami. It's like they cannot make another mistake. They got to win out.
They got that. Every game is a must win on the way out. Every game's a must win. I think if they want to, the only way their only path to the college football playoffs is to win the Big 12, in my opinion. And I think that if they win the Big 12, then yes, I think they can still make it. If they lose two games, then I think if they lose to BYU, then BYU is going to represent that division for the Big 12 title. So I don't think you're making up that ground. There's only a few games left to go.
Yeah.
They definitely have to win against BYU for sure. That is a must-win game, and they cannot stumble against Kansas State because Kansas State is not a bad football team. They're not ranked, but they're not a bad football team. I think they've got four. They're either 4-3 or 5-2, I think, somewhere along those lines. So not a terrible football team, but I think Texas Tech should be able to handle K-State on the road. They'll still be able to go in there and handle business. So we'll see. The BYU game, though, that's going to be the one because if they beat BYU, I think that there's no problem that they win out and play for the Big 12 championship.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, I appreciate it. Everyone, make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe, share on the way out. So like I said, I will be down at AT&T this weekend. If you guys are going to the game or you're in the area, hit your boy up. Let's meet up and hang a little bit. I'm looking forward to a great weekend and being back with the peeps. So it's going to be great. So we appreciate it. You guys take care. Have a great weekend. Enjoy college football. Enjoy the pros on a Sunday, and Cowboys Monday night should be great. We'll be seeing you guys. Take care. See you.
Give me somebody that's hungry. Give me somebody that's hungry. I need somebody.